Actually, cardiac cycle is in only one slide. Only one slide. The thing is, you have to be with me every step of the way. And if you follow me, if you understand all the steps that I am explaining to you, then that's it. You have understood what is cardiac cycle. Okay? Shall we come in?
سلايد واحد تدرسه
We can discuss that afterwards.
خليكم من تدرسوا
And to emphasize that all the events, everything that is occurring in 0.8 seconds. So I have written 0.8 seconds here itself. Because that, settle down. Because that is the duration of the cardiac cycle. 0.8 seconds. That means it's very simple actually. You know the normal heart rate, isn't it? So if it is, for example, 75 beats per minute. 75 beats per minute. Simple calculation. It comes to about 0.8 seconds for one single cardiac cycle. Now, what is the meaning of the word cycle? Cycle. Cycle means what? Something which is beginning at one point and it is describing a whole circle and coming back to the same point. Coming back to the same point. That is a cycle, isn't it? Similarly, the heart is beating in this cyclical manner. Now, a few basic things first of all. The heart is having 4 chambers, 2 atria and 2 ventricles, right and left atria, right and left ventricles. Point number 1. Point number 2, these 2 chambers of the heart, yani I am clubbing together the atria and the ventricles. Okay? These two, they do not contract and relax simultaneously. They do not contract and relax simultaneously, yani at the same time. Okay? There is a slight gap, even though the contraction of the heart, as you know, the heart muscle, if you understand, if you remember the histology, it is arranged like a syncytium. The word is syncytium, isn't it? What is syncytium? Syncytium is that particular arrangement of the millions of cardiac myocytes. There are literally millions of cardiac myocytes. So each myocyte should be different, like in the skeletal muscle, isn't it? And one particular neuron which is supplying the skeletal muscle, all those myocytes to which this neuron is supplying, that is called the motor unit in case of the skeletal muscle. That means what I am trying to say is, impulse which is coming, action potential which is coming from this particular neuron will be contracting only those myocytes in the skeletal muscle. It will not contract the whole muscle. Understood my point? Yes. Not so in case of the heart. All the millions of myocytes, cardiac myocytes, their arrangement is such that one single impulse which is coming is sufficient to cause contraction of the whole muscle, whole cardiac muscle, isn't it? Yes. It's not a group of only a few myocytes. This arrangement is called as a syncytial arrangement. Syncytium. Okay, S-Y-N-C-I-T-I-U-M, syncytium. And this, on the one hand, I am telling you that one impulse which is coming causes whole muscle to contract at once, isn't it? On the other hand, I am telling you that the atria and the ventricles do not contract and relax, obviously, simultaneously. So how is it possible? This is possible because of the fibrous skeletal structure, fibrous sheath, which is present in between the atria and the ventricles.
Yes,
isn't it? This sheath, actually, because fibrous sheath is non-conducting, right? It will not conduct it. And this prevents passage, direct passage of the cardiac impulse from the atria into the ventricle. If this sheath is not there, this exoskeleton, this fibrous skeleton is not there, the atria and the ventricles, they will contract simultaneously.
Damage levels.
Not damage, the person will not live. No one will live, isn't it? Because then the function of the heart will not occur.
Yes, sure.
One point. Another point is there is a AV nodal delay. I am just going through the basic points and I will not be going into the details of this because all this what I am telling you is beneficial for understanding the cardiac cycle. So there is something called as AV nodal delay. So the starting point is the SA node which is there in the right atrium, isn't it? Starting point for the cardiac impulse, isn't it? The cardiac action potential is coming from there. Once it is initiated, it immediately will spread over both the atria simultaneously, isn't it? Once it is coming from the right atrium, it spreads immediately over both the atria because that is the nature of cardiac muscle, syncytial nature. So they will contract simultaneously. And then this passes through, it comes together, this particular impulse, because of the exoskeleton. It finds only one point through which it can go down into the ventricles, isn't it? So there is the bundle of His and there is the AV node. There was first the SA node, then the AV node. AV node is atrioventricular node, bundle of His, then the left bundle branch and the right bundle branch coming down into the Purkinje system. This is what I am describing is the conduction system of the heart. That system which basically is responsible for conducting the impulse generated in the SA node right up to the apex of the heart.
So doctor,
Okay.
does it contract simultaneously because of fibrous tissue and AV node?
Both of them.
What?
Right? Okay? So there is, when this impulse is passing through the AV node, there is a slight delay there. This is called as AV nodal delay. Okay? This also enables the atria to contract before the ventricles. Clear? Understood? Let us go on there. So those were the basic points that you have to keep in mind. So atrial contraction followed by ventricular contraction. Right?
Yes.
Two points over atrial relaxation, ventricular relaxation. This contraction and relaxation, they are also called as systole and diastole. So there will be actually two things, atrial systole and diastole and ventricular systole and diastole. Right? So actually systole and diastole, if we say there are two things, but actually there are four things. Isn't it? Atrial systole and diastole, ventricular systole and diastole. Four things are there. Right? The length of the cardiac cycle is dependent upon the frequency-duration relation. Frequency, duration, relation. Frequency of what? Frequency of heart rate. Frequency of heartbeat. That means the heart rate. Isn't it? Less the frequency, what will happen to the cardiac cycle? What will be the duration of the cardiac cycle?
Less.
Oh, please.
Less.
Less the frequency and higher
Try to do the same.
heart rate. Isn't it? If the frequency is less, heart rate is less. What about the cardiac cycle duration? More.
Yes.
The cardiac cycle duration will be more, isn't it? Because the heart rate is less.
So try to do
On the other hand, if the frequency is more, the cardiac cycle duration will be lesser and less. Less and less. Opposite. Okay? So that is the explanation. The length of the cardiac cycle depends on the frequency duration relation. And we have already talked about this. And there are the four, you can say, phases. Two belonging to atria, two belonging to the ventricles. Okay? Now, the beginning point, we have talked about that it is a cycle, so there should be a beginning point and there should be an end point.
Yes.
The beginning point is the beginning of the atrial contraction. So, just to briefly go through it once again, the atria they contract, then the ventricles contract, atria relax, at the same time. When the ventricles are contracting, atria will contract and relax. And then the ventricles will also relax. Isn't it? So now, at this particular point, if we are looking at a video, for example, if we pause this, we have paused the heart in what situation? The atria are relaxed and the ventricles are also relaxed. Right?
Yes.
Are you with me?
Yes.
That means this is the end point of the one cardiac cycle. Right?
Okay.
We will begin from the point where we will restart the video. That means the atria are again beginning to contract. That will be our point of beginning of study of the cardiac cycle.
Okay.
Understood?
Yes.
Everyone?
The relaxation of ventricle, this is the end of the cycle.
Yes. In a way. That means the whole heart, we have to imagine a point, imagine a situation in which the whole heart is completely relaxed or in complete diastole. No, not contraction. Relaxed.
Yes.
Or in complete diastole. Okay? Then we'll begin the next cycle, which is contraction of the atrium.
Yes.
So there are, you can say, these 4 stages. 2 of ventricular systole, 2 of atrial systole and diastole, and ventricular systole and diastole. 4 can be divided into 8 different phases.
Okay.
So beginning with atrial systole, okay, then ventricular systole. Ventricular systole is divisible into 3. Then ventricular diastole, which is divisible into 3, and finally the atrial diastole or relaxation.
Yes.
This is just describing what happens in this particular stage. Like atrial systole. What atrial systole does? There is pumping of blood into the ventricles during the last part of the ventricular diastole. Just read this with me and we will understand this as we go on.
Okay.
What do you mean by last part and why last part? What about the beginning part? Ventricular systole divisible into 3. First one, isovolumic contraction. Second one, rapid ejection. Third one, slow ejection. Okay? Ventricular systole. Slow or reduced. You can say slow or reduced ejection. Similarly, ventricular diastole, as the case is with, so it's very simple to remember these 8 phases. Very simple. Ventricular systole 3, ventricular diastole 3. Ventricular, they are the same names. Ventricular systole, when we are talking about systole, we are talking about contraction.
Yes.
So the first point is isovolumic contraction phase. Then rapid ejection, because it is contracting, so it is ejecting out blood.
Yes.
Then slow
So
ejection.
rapid ejection, slow ejection. Then we come to ventricular diastole. The first will be isovolumic relaxation.
Relaxation.
Second is filling. Now it is filling because it is relaxing, so it is filling with blood.
Yes.
So second phase is rapid filling phase, and third is slow filling or reduced filling phase, also called as diastasis. Okay?
Okay.
And then followed by, in our study, followed by atrial diastole. Actually, atrial diastole lasts for the whole duration of the ventricular systole and some part of the ventricular diastole. Okay? And like I have told you in the beginning, this color should not be used. I cannot see that. Can we change that color?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So, the heart is completely relaxed, like I have told you. One cycle has finished. At this point, what will happen? Okay, one more basic thing that I did not mention. We mentioned about the 2 atria and the 2 ventricles. Between these chambers, there are connections, obviously, isn't it? And these connections are through valves. The valves which are present in between the atria and ventricles are called as the AV valves. Atrioventricular valves. Similarly, these valves, there are valves which are present between the ventricles and the great arteries of the body. Which are the great arteries? Aorta and the pulmonary trunk. So, the valve between the left ventricle and the aorta is called as the aortic valve. Simple. The valve which is present in between the right ventricle and the pulmonary trunk is called as the pulmonary. These are also called as the semilunar valves. Also called as the semilunar valves. How many valves are there? 4. Okay. What is the function of the valves? To prevent backflow of blood. Backflow of blood, isn't it? So, At this point, when the heart is completely relaxed, all the valves are also open. All the valves are also open. And actually, it's like imagining a situation in which the heart is completely relaxed, and it is, as you know, at this point of time, blood is flowing through whole of the body and the pulmonary system also, and the heart also. How in the heart? Because it is completely relaxed. In relaxation, in diastole, what happens? In the right atrium and the right ventricle, because they are open now, because it is completely relaxed. Blood is coming back from the systemic side. From the systemic side into the right atrium, and thereby flowing directly into the right ventricle. Okay? Clear so far? Because the heart is relaxed.
Yes.
And we have paused it in that particular situation. Similarly, in the left heart, what is happening? Blood is coming back from the lungs into the left atrium and thereby flowing down directly into the left ventricle. Okay, clear so far with me? Okay. Now, the first thing, the 0 point. Okay, point 0. You see this 0? This is because too much is there, so obviously it is a little bit, but it looks good on your laptops. Okay, you can very clearly see this there. So this is point 0, and in this diagram, the 0.8 second has been given in milliseconds. Like it is, you can say here 800 milliseconds. 800 and 0.8 seconds. It's the same. Point 0 is the point of beginning of atrial systole. Like I have already told you. First point, beginning of atrial systole. There was one point in the previous slide which told you that during all of the ventricular systole and part of the ventricular diastole. Here also there was something which is during the last part of ventricular diastole. Isn't it? So if you see this particular 2 cycles, here the inner cycle is the atrial systole and diastole, and the outer cycle is the ventricular systole and diastole. Point 0, the beginning of the cardiac cycle, is the point from where the atrial systole begins. Okay? Are you with me?
Yes.
The duration of atrial systole is 0.1 second. The duration of atrial diastole will be the remaining 0.7 seconds.
Yeah.
Because the cardiac cycle is 0.8. Cardiac. Now, the atrial systole and diastole, ventricular systole and diastole, they are, even though we are studying them separately, they are occurring simultaneously. The heart is beginning to contract, okay, and then it will relax and the whole cycle is complete. These 2 events which are occurring in the atria and the ventricles are occurring simultaneously. Okay? So, in 0.8 seconds, in a single duration of 0.8 seconds, both the atria will contract and relax and the ventricles will contract and relax. In 0.8 seconds. Are you with me?
Yes. Yeah.
So what I am trying to say is, we will, for our study purposes, we will divide them 0.8 for atria, 0.8 for ventricles. What happens during this one single time period of 0.8 to the atrial contraction and relaxation, and the ventricular contraction and relaxation? What happens? Are you with me again?
Yes.
Okay. So don't be confused. Don't think that 0.8 for atria and 0.8 for ventricles, it should be 0.16. No. Okay? 0.8 is applicable to the heart, one single cycle. Right. So when it is 0.1, it's very simple to remember. When it is 0.1 duration for atrial systole, that means atrial diastole will be 0.7. Clear so far?
Yes.
Okay. Similarly, let us take up ventricular systole and diastole. Ventricular systole lasts for 0.27 seconds. So just you have to make the difference of, to arrive at 0.8. What will be the difference?
0.53.
Ventricular diastole is 0.53 seconds. Again, clear so far?
Yes.
So remember the durations. Atrial systole, 0.1. Atrial diastole, 0.7. Ventricular systole, yani phase of contraction. Ventricular systole, 0.27.
Yes.
Ventricular diastole, 0.53.
Yes.
Another thing that will help you in remembering these figures is the overall length of contraction or time or duration of contraction is less than the duration of relaxation for both atria and ventricles.
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
Another point you can remember. Systole or duration of contraction of atria and ventricles is less than their duration of relaxation. Or in other words, you can say duration of relaxation of atria and ventricles is more than their duration of contraction. Similarly, using this tricks you can use to remember the durations. Okay? So, what happened? What happened? At point 0, there was beginning of atrial systole. There was beginning of contraction of the atria. Okay? Now, when the atria will contract, you have to imagine again that particular situation in which the heart was completely relaxed and blood was pouring into the atria and the ventricles, and there was filling of the ventricles. The ventricles are still not completely filled with blood. That is why, if you see here, this is atrial systole,
Yeah.
0.1 second, and the whole of this particular color,
Few times.
it is 0.7 second.
Yes.
Isn't it? That is atrial diastole.
Okay.
Now let us see about ventricular systole. The basic point which I have told you that you have to remember is the atria and the ventricles do not contract simultaneously. That means once the atrial systole is complete, then ventricles will go into systole.
Except in
Isn't it?
0.8.
Yeah.
In 0.8 it will be simultaneously.
In 0.8,
Yes.
it will be
Simultaneously because it is both atria and ventricle will contract and relax.
both.
The whole cycle.
Both in one cycle. In one cycle.
So it will be simultaneously
Simultaneously.
in 0.8.
In 0.8.
But the other doesn't contract simultaneously.
I don't understand what you are saying.
You said the first doesn't contract, the atria and ventricle doesn't contract
Simultaneously.
Yes.
They cannot contract simultaneously.
Except
Yes.
in 0.8 second.
Within 0.8 second, within the cardiac cycle. Again, the beginning point of the cardiac cycle is that point where the heart has completely relaxed in the previous cycle. The heart has completely relaxed. One cycle is over. Now let us study the cardiac cycle from its beginning.
Okay.
So how does it begin? With atrial systole. Okay, this is 0 point. This is 0 millisecond. It has completed. Now there is atrial systole. It lasts for 0.1 second
Yes.
or 100 millisecond. 0.1 second. Okay. When it is finished, two events will start. One is atrial diastole because it is contracted. 0.1 second.
Yeah.
Now it will begin to relax.
Yeah.
Okay. So beginning of atrial diastole.
Diastole.
The event that is starting in the ventricles is ventricular systole.
Systole. Okay.
So this is beginning of atrial diastole, and at the same time the event, because now the cardiac impulse has passed from the atria through the AV nodes, AV nodal delay, now into the ventricles. And once it comes towards the ventricle, as you know, because of the syncytial nature of the cardiac myocytes, it will spread immediately over all the ventricular myocytes. Let us put it like that. Ventricular myocytes simultaneously. Yes or no?
Yes.
Isn't it? So, there is beginning of, tell me, beginning of
Atrial systole. Ventricle
Vent-
systole.
ventricular systole and atrial diastole.
Two.
Two events are beginning.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Everyone should say yes. Anyway. So, this is the beginning of ventricular contraction or ventricular
Systole.
systole. The duration will be 0.27 seconds. Now let us forget about atrial diastole. Why? Because atrial diastole is there continuously till the beginning of the next cycle.
Yeah.
Okay? Let us talk only about ventricle now.
Okay.
Clear so far again?
Yes.
Okay. So there is ventricular systole. Duration is 0.27 seconds.
Okay.
What are the different phases of ventricular systole I gave you in previous slide? 3 phases.
Isovolumic.
Actually, there are 2 phases you can say. 2.
Yes,
Why
yes.
2?
One is start rapid, then slow.
One is the isovolumic
Yes.
contraction phase, and another is the filling phase.
Yes.
Rapid is slow.
So there are
Yes.
so there are 2 phases. Actually, there are 2 phases.
Yes.
But again, we can divide them into the filling phase can be divisible into 2: rapid and slow, rapid and reduced. That is why we say 3.
Yeah.
But actually, there are 2. Again, do you follow me? Why
Yes,
2
yes, yes,
and
yes.
why 3?
Yes.
Okay. So, what is the first phase? Isovolumic contraction. Iso means same, volumic means volume. So this particular phase, this particular part of the cardiac cycle in the ventricular systole is that particular point. Now what you have to see is the ventricles are beginning to contract. These are the ventricles, okay, right and left, and they are beginning to contract. That means just the muscle tension is building up in the ventricular walls. It is just building up, and they are just beginning to contract. What will happen?
Rapid ejection.
No, not immediately rapid ejection.
Ah,
What will
sorry.
happen is the blood which has filled up in these ventricles, it will be pushed back, isn't it? Because it is just beginning to contract. The walls of the ventricles, walls of the chambers are beginning to contract. So this contraction force will go where? On the blood contained inside the chambers, right? And this blood will be pushed against where? The valves.
Yes.
Which were the valves that were open at that particular time?
Pulmonary and aortic.
Pulmonary and the
No, not the pulmonary and the aortic.
The
They were closed.
The right artery. The right ventricle.
The AV valves were open.
Yes.
Again, that is why I told you let us go through the basics first. If you don't remember the basics, difficult to understand or remember the cardiac cycle. Follow me. The heart is completely relaxed. Okay? The AV valves are open. Why are the pulmonary and the aortic valves not open? Because valves, I also pointed out this point to you, because valves prevent backflow of blood. Now the aortic and the pulmonary valves are preventing backflow of blood from the aorta and the pulmonary into the ventricles.
Yes.
They are preventing that.
Yes. So it can.
So they will be closed.
Yes.
When the heart is relaxed, they will be closed because blood should not flow back into the ventricles.
Yeah.
But the atrioventricular valves will be open.
Okay.
So when the heart is in a relaxed state, AV valves are open, aortic and pulmonary, or the semilunar, to use one word, the semilunar valves are closed.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes.
Now, when atrial systole is finished, atrial systole has pushed additional blood from the atria into the ventricles. Imagine that it is falling down. Now there is beginning of ventricular systole, and at the same time atrial diastole also. Above atrial diastole, below ventricular systole.
Yes.
As soon as it is beginning to contract, just beginning, the muscle tension is building up. This force is transferred to the blood contained inside the ventricles. This blood will be pushed back against those doors which are open. And which doors are open? The AV valves are open.
Yes.
This will cause the AV valves to snap shut, to close.
Yes.
Okay? The AV valves close. What is this? IVCP? Isovolumic contraction phase begins, AV valves close. And this closure of the AV valves causes the first heart sound.
Okay.
This closure of the AV valve, there is beginning of contraction of the ventricular muscle. At this point, when the muscle tension is building up to cause forceful contraction, but at the very beginning point, if we do it in slow motion, this particular activity, when it is just beginning to contract, it will push the blood which is contained inside the blood will be pushed against the valves and the valves